time to make the bread. We're going to do 333 grams of white and 333 grams of wheat with 499 grams of flour. So doing the auto lease first, so let's get started. This morning it's really humid. It's a little sticky, but I think it's okay. Everything looks pretty good. I feel everything's incorporated well, so let this rest for an hour and we'll be back with our starter. Alright, it's been a little more than an hour, but the starter I fed about 8 hours ago. It's still rising a little bit, which is good. That's what I want. Get this thing back in the bowl. Let's get this started. Gonna add my salt first. I didn't mean to put this much, but it's fine. 200 grams of starter. I've been doing about 150, but a little bit more speeds the process up a little bit too. So actually, I'll pretend that I meant to do that. Let's do that. So today the plan is like the last loaf. I started at like 6:30 or 6:45 this morning. I finished the first step at 7 a.m. Let's put it that way. I finished the first step at 7 a.m. So I showered and worked out and fed the dogs and everything. So it's a little bit later than I'd like, but that's fine. With this much starter, we'll be able to get the rest of the process done fairly quickly. I plan on doing the folds at about 45 minutes a piece, and I noticed those shorter times and those shorter turnarounds worked a little bit better and made the bread a little bit more puffy, and the proofing process went really smooth. It doubled in about 2 hours, which is basically what I want to add that air into it. So now I have this gooey mess, and in about 7 minutes it'll be a nice ball of dough. So I'm gonna get started on this. This is gonna take about at least 5, but probably 7 minutes to fold. Alright, looks good. Starting to smell good. It's in the right place. It's about, 9 minutes. So, pick it up, put it in my grease bowl, let it rest. About 45 minutes. I'm going to wait about 45 minutes, let it rest for about 45 minutes. Start with our folds and do folds every 45. Condense that time a little bit for sake of time in reality, and I found that last week when I shortened my time window, it did help with it a little bit. So I'll be back in 45 minutes in human time, but in editing time it's nothing, right? So see, woo. I could make like one of those transitions with my hands all covered with goo. I don't want to touch the lens. Feels okay. I'm already feeling little bubbles of air. That's good. It's folding really nicely. I think that's it for now. Let it rest for about 45 minutes, and we'll get on to the next fold. That was the third fold. Everything feels pretty good. So I'm gonna get everything ready in about 30 minutes. I'll start shaping and we'll get to the proofing. Everything feels pretty good so far. Get down to business here. It's got some good bubbles in it. It's coming along pretty well. Gotta build that tension up in the dough. There you go. All right. Built up some good tension in it. It feels pretty good. Could cover it and then put it in the oven. I have the oven set to about 100 degrees. It's proofing setting, and I found that it's a bit cool. It's probably like room temperature, which is not the best thing in the world, but not bad either. These little pieces, you should be able to eat them. And they should taste not the best thing in the world, but they shouldn't taste bad. Just, it's kind of like, it's not like a perfect measure of what you're going to be doing, but it does help to kind of make sure everything doesn't taste the way it should, I should say. All right. A little bit of an air bubble is nice. It's going to deflate, obviously. It's not airtight. But I'm going to let it sit like this. Actually, I always forget to do this. After I put the cap on, I always remember. So, here's my before picture. And in a couple hours, we'll have an after picture. Hopefully, it'll completely fill in and come up to the top. Alright, so you see that? It's filled in, it's right to the top. It's nice and jiggly. So I'm going to put it in the fridge. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. I plan on starting to bake around 7:30 or so. So give it like a few hours to cool off now that we warmed it up to get it to the temperature. Now we want to cool it back down to kind of congeal it, sort of. It's cold fermenting is what it is. So in the fridge, and we'll be back later this evening. All right. Oven's ready. Bread needs to be taken out and cut and put into the Dutch oven. So let's get moving. Oh no, it's stuck. That's not good. Okay, maybe we're okay. Okay, so we got our slits in. Let's get our bread out. I gotta dust that thing with flour next time. All right, so put this sucker up in here. Looks pretty good so far. Okay. Trying to turn this thing around in one day. I think it's okay. So far, at least. Set a timer for 20 minutes. Part of this is just because I didn't have the time. My Saturday was taken up, so I couldn't really get things done the way I normally do, so that's not a big deal. And then if I can figure out how to do it in one day, that means I could make multiple in a weekend. Not that I ever do that, but it's interesting to know. Hopefully next time, the first thing I need to do, this thing is super wet just from condensation and the bread moisture, so it's stuck a little bit, but I left a tiny little piece behind. That's not good. So let this dry out. I usually just sit it on my counter here, and about a day it's bone dry. Next time, if I use this Benetton, I'll dust it with flour again. I think it needs it, but just under 20 minutes and we'll see what it looks like. And then 20 minutes to cover off, then about 12-13 minutes with the cover off, and then it'll be done, and then we can take a look at it. Got a good rise to it. It opened pretty nicely. The size of it looks good. I think everything's pretty good on it. So, smells really nice. The slits open really well. So yeah, I started this whole process around 6:30 this morning. It's now 8:30 in the evening. And I have a loaf of bread. Nice loaf of bread that lasts a week. Just gotta let it cool and we'll cut into it tomorrow morning. I forgot that I didn't cut my bread, and then I started making my sandwich because I was hungry. But the bread looks good. The crumb, it's good looking crumb. This is toasted. It's too big for the toaster, so I had to like literally just do this toast and then toast it this way, and then I melted the cheese in the micro. It's a lazy grilled cheese, but everything looks good. It feels good. The crumb is a little bit soft around here, but toasting it takes care of that. But otherwise, it looks okay.